The Z to Z Podcast.
Good morning, good evening, or good day, and welcome to the Z to Z Podcast, the home for Xbox achievement hunters and gamerscore junkies. I'm your host, Brandon Fream, and thank you so much for listening. At Z to Z, we love gaming, in particular, grabbing achievements and gaining gamerscore. We do news, reviews, and interviews. If it's about achievements, we'll unlock it. You can find show notes for this show, as well as previous shows, on our website, z2z.com. This is episode 137. You can also contact us with questions or comments on Twitter at Z2ZZEDTOZED, over to forums, forum.z2z.com, or email us directly, contact@z2z.com. Well, gentlemen, it is a Prue-less show this evening. Prue is off gallivanting who knows where, but we've got a familiar voice in Kooshmoose. How are you doing, Koosh?
Not too bad. How are you doing?
Great, thank you. And another relatively familiar voice, although it's been a while since he's been on the show. We have doughboyee. How are you doing, Dave?
Doing well. Great to be back.
Good. That's awesome. I'm excited. You guys. But before we signed on, I had mentioned like I was eating an ice cream cone, and you know we have the video up here between us, and so I know I've mentioned on the podcast before that I'm allergic to milk, like anaphylaxis allergic. So, you know, when I get milk in my throat swells and closes. And so this whole summer, you know, I've cut out milkshakes, I've cut out like all the traditional milk, and like I said, bread kind of sneaks in there because they use milk to keep bread soft. But it's the liquid part of milk. Like, so I'm okay with cheeses, I'm okay with stuff like that, but like my throat will get itchy, my tongue will get itchy. And so, you know, but it's relatively mild. I do have an EpiPen, but it's relatively mild, and I take a daily allergy medicine just, you know, with normal allergies plus that. Kind of takes the edge off. And boy, I love my sweets, not going to lie to you. And so this summer, since I've been coaching so much baseball, you know, a lot of the treats on a hot day is like the parents will show up with ice cream sandwiches or whatever. And I'm like, oh, man, like I'm so sick of being done with baseball, and I can't have any of the treats, you know, like, what am I going to do with an ice cream sandwich? I said, you know what, screw it. I'm giving it a shot. I don't even care. I've had Dairy Queen cake before. Yes, my tongue itches, but it tastes so good. I love Dairy Queen cake. And so I decided to just start eating this ice cream sandwich. And you know what? It wasn't bad. It was not a bad reaction. I kind of thought, I was like, well, you know, that totally makes sense, because if, you know, how do you make ice cream? Well, it's milk, sugar, and ice, cold temperatures. And then you blend those together, and it makes, you know, it congeals into this ice cream. And I thought, you know, if you want like a really good, rich, creamy ice cream, we use a lot of milk. But if you are mass producing something, you know, what's going to be way less expensive?
Garbage ice cream.
Then, you know, that you could mass produce. It's like, well, you cut the milk and you add more sugar. And there it is. So I was like, you know, oh man, this opens a whole new world. And so like drumsticks are back on the table, and like any sort of crappy grocery store ice cream doesn't have enough milk content to really cause problems. It is fantastic. And so like all summer I've been eating drumsticks. It's opened my world to a whole new, fantasy land where I can have ice cream again. It's because, let's be honest, Rice Dream and the coconut milk ice cream, it's not so good. It's not so good. Like the Rice Dream to me tastes like newspapers. I don't know if you guys have had Rice Dream before, but vanilla Rice Dream is newspapers, I think. So it's not good. But, you know, I like a sorbet every now and again. Wait, is that the one with milk in it? Sherbet. Sherbet has milk. Sorbet is just the frozen juice. I think that's right. Anyway,
yeah, sounds right.
Doesn't matter. So, yeah, that's I found the loophole in allergies. Now, that being said, okay, my tongue might be a little itchy right now. Like, that's fine. But, yeah, you know, we'll get through. We'll get through. But, you know, this is a video game show. Let's talk about video games, and we'll start with our illustrious guest, Doughboy. What have you been up to this last? Well, it's been a while. Why don't you pick a few games? You know, we can go around the horn. So why don't you pick one that you've had some fun with this week?
Oh, I wrote down like 30 from the last time I've been on, so I'll just go through all of them really slow, take my time, give you all the thoughts about them. Yeah, we'll take it from there.
Yeah.
So no,
Can you go through all the ACA Neo Geo games you've played in alphabetical order.
I have not
great.
touched one yet. I haven't done it. So
Just so you know, I'm letting everybody a sneak peek into Fream's Completion Challenge 2019.
Oh no.
ACA Neo Geo
All
is one of
ACA.
the requirements.
Okay.
30 ACA. No, just one ACA Neo Geo completion has to be done. So don't, Elroy, if you're listening, don't beat them all. Who am I kidding? They're coming out with them every month. Like there'll be plenty of opportunities.
there will indeed.
All right, sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
That's all right. So daily, I always pop in and do my Gems of War updates. Just try to play a couple games. They've done some updates recently that they've added a calendar to it, so you can jump in and every day you get a bonus item. And if you do log in every day through the month, or at least up to 28 days of the month, you'll get the highest item, which is an orb that gives you, free upgrades, basically. So they've made it a lot easier to kind of catch up on some of their more ridiculous achievements towards the end there,
Sure.
the 500 level and stuff like that. So we've been working on that.
They did that with Happy Wars, too, like their daily map. And you can kind of go all the way through. And at one point, I think, the map was always fabled ore. So you could, upgrade equipment super, super fast if you just kept showing up every day. So, yeah, it's those... I mean, that's how those... Because, if you look at, the how the trajectory of a free-to-play game goes, it's, the rapid growth, and then it's, the recruitment, and then there's a big tail, and then at the tail is, okay, how do you bring the people, keep your sustained people alive where it's not fresh anymore. And usually it's by showering them with goodies.
Telling them the servers are closing.
Yeah, right.
And then extending it and extending it and extending it. So other than that, weekly been doing the Evolve boost with Koosh and Saucy and Mattism and
Smitty.
You guys get anything done in that?
It's progressing well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's at least one achievement a week because some of them are the get 25 wins in this particular game type. So some of those we're only getting 1 or 2 achievements that week, but we've definitely been moving through it pretty good, I think.
When do is that an end of year server thing? When is that going down?
I feel like it's towards the end of the year.
Okay. Is there a hard date?
I
bet we can look it up.
I thought it was September.
Yeah, and
that's pretty close.
I think we thought that we'd done everything that might be lost by that because it is peer-to-peer. So we think we're good, but why risk it?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, we've all got our homework that we've been working on with it. So that on top of that,
September 3rd is the online services are scheduled for closure. Thank you, TrueAchievements.com. So yeah, September 3rd. That's right around the corner. Jeez, Labor Day. All right.
Now I'm scared.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I really probably need to do my homework a little more.
I mean, I should see how many, if you click the online... Well, there's 4 online game modes. 1 community... I bet that's community, too. The multiplayer one you could probably do with a group, right? So there's 3. Create a badge, win a match, win a round of hunt in a 4-player party. And then spectate in observer mode. Those seem to be the 4 super critical ones that seem relatively easy. I'm sure you're done with those already.
Yeah, we knocked this out way early, so hopefully.
Perfect. Crossing your fingers.
I guess we'll be double checking that this week.
Yes.
But so other than that, let's see some RTTL stuff and Killer Instinct. Started the game. Amazing Princess Sarah was on my list to do.
Is she as buxom in pixelation as she is on the cover art?
She is, and so is every other female character that you find in that game.
Delightful. So a complete dev team of adolescents. What? Great.
Yeah, and I think from what I read, that they talk about it jokingly throughout it. So later on, some of the humor for it's there. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, all the achievement titles and descriptions, and it's all hopefully tongue in cheek.
Yeah, or just really crass. I don't know.
Yep.
Could be either way. Great. Great.
I had my son pop on my account instead of his account the other day, and he unlocked an achievement in Slime Rancher, so I had to spend a day playing Slime Rancher and unlocking some of those achievements so that it wasn't killing me as much that I only had 1 unlocked. That actually is kind of fun, so I think I'm going to have a good time with that one.
I think you will.
That's funny. I added that to my UHH pool because I was short on achievements, and I thought, I bet people will be matched up in this because it's pretty popular. So I'll just throw that on my list. It's got a decent pile of achievements that might be kind of enjoyable to go for. So who knows? That might show up in September.
I'd agree. Let's see. And then last two here, I finally, for the first time, tried Fortnite.
Really?
Battle Royale, yeah. I hadn't done it just because there's no achievements, so it wasn't something that I was jumping to do.
Right.
And part 2 of that was I signed in to play the game, and it says, click here to join into your Epic login. Go to Epic, type in my username, and somebody took doughboyee. Somebody took it from me.
Even with the ease?
Even with the ease. Somebody grabbed it and is using it.
Wow.
I kept trying to think, is there any games that I have played? But they only started doing that recently. They don't have too many games. Like even the old Gears of War didn't require you to log into Epic. So
sure.
Can't think of what it would have been taken. And since I tried all different email addresses to see, okay, did I sign up with this one, maybe this one? Now it's gone. So I had to do the whole X and underscores and try all these different ones to see what I
Boy 420.
So if you see that guy out there, let me know, and we're gonna have to get in contact and get my name back.
Oh man, that's what a travesty.
Yeah, but no, I popped in, played a couple rounds of it the first night, enjoyed it. I'll have to do it definitely with some friends, with the squads and the duos and stuff, and try those because that seems to be better with a headset and talking with somebody else.
I bet.
A couple times I tried the duos and wasn't getting much out of anybody. So,
is it like so because as I'm coaching baseball, like I use Fortnite as a great motivator for the kids. Like hey, I'm cool, I'm with it. Like I can talk Fortnite with you guys, but I haven't played it myself, and my son is like chomping at the bit to get on playing, and it's like, oh god, I just feel weird about letting him loose on the world of online shooters. How's the community? Is it? I know it's not PUBG, but is it nasty? Is there blood and guts everywhere?
When I played, like I said, I didn't hear anybody. Nobody. It said there were headsets, but I think you have to basically say that you want to talk to your team or whatever and get in there. I didn't have anybody saying "way to go, loser" or anything like that when we lost. There's no blood in the animation when they die. They just materialize and then just their stuff drops. So that's one of the more and it's cartoony looking compared to PUBG. And that's what I'm hearing from, we got together with family and the cousins were like, oh yeah, I'm playing this and this, and my son's doing the same thing. Well, why can't I? I'm like, you're 4. You are not playing that yet. but you let me play Plants vs. Zombies. I'm like, yeah, that's a little different than PUBG or Fortnite. So I'm going to hold off on those for now. But yeah, I had to see what it was about as well and kind of decide there. I'll let him in eventually. He likes to watch and he watches streams when I'm not there anyway. So
right.
But yeah, that's that. Last thing would be what I would consider the win of the week. Graveyard Keeper. I have been looking at this game for a little while now. It is something that I saw and thought this would be kind of neat to jump into and check out. I was going to apply for the alpha keys and beta keys and things like that, but never did. So I just kind of waited till it was coming. The day they came out, jumped on, looked at the price, thought wasn't too bad. And then shortly after that, Major Nelson said, hey, it's free on Game Pass. And I've still got Game Pass. So I was able to give it a shot. And it's a lot of fun. I do like it. It's definitely going to be a grind. I think Koosh, you started it as well, right?
Yeah, I started it. Have you done Stardew Valley?
I did not do Stardew Valley.
Okay, because I'd love to hear someone's thoughts on how it relates to that or how similar they are, because they seem like they're kind of carbon copies. One's
yeah, that's what I hear.
A little more
yeah, I have one streamer that I watch every week. Every Monday, she plays Stardew Valley, and she's got quite a few hours into it because she literally plays it every Monday since it's been out. And she got 5 copies of Graveyard Keeper to do a stream on Tuesday because she does new games on Tuesday. So I'll definitely be in her stream to hear what she thinks. But seeing her play that game and me playing this one, they do definitely seem a lot alike. Pretty much just find out what your task is, go take care of that task. It's not going to be available until day X or day Y, so wait until that day comes up that you can talk to this particular person If you're not there before sundown, you're not going to see them for another week. So there's a lot of that. One thing I did find interesting is that they did on the Steam page for the game, they have already done 3 updates for it, and it's only been out for 3 days now. So if it were Xbox, it takes a lot longer to get an update passed through for there. So I think they're seeing what the community is saying. But I know that they are doing certain things. They're adding fast travel once you hit a certain level. They're going to have a teleport stone that you can buy from the Tavern Keeper. The days are longer, which you would think is a plus and a minus, because there are some days, like I said, that one person is only there this day and you can't make it to that side of town because you're out of energy or you need to get a specific item before you get to him. You get there and you'll see him walking away because it's sundown, so you can't talk to that person at that point.
Oh, no.
I've had that happen to me twice so far. So, or I got the wrong directions and said, go to the bottom farm. I went to the bottom farm and it was the farm to the right instead of the farm to the direct bottom. So the maps, you kind of, as you get to certain areas, the maps appear and you start to figure out where things are. So until you're there, you don't realize where to go. And they also said that they're lowering requirements for some of the crafts and some of the buildings. So that could be good too. But there's some people on Steam already complaining that you put out a good game, you want us to play it for a long time, but you're making it quicker and easier for us. That's not what we're looking for. In this type of game, that community usually does like the grind. That's why they play these games. They like to put more and more hours into it. And if it's not there at the end, they've got all the achievements or they've got all the story done, they're not going to stick around. So, but knowing who made the game, I think they're going to put a lot into it and keep it going for quite a while.
Interesting. So is it, you're not still in the GTA-C, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Because I would imagine that this ratio stuff is kind of getting out of control since it just popped free, that you might see some decay and stuff. But is it are a lot of people getting on it? So, Koosh, what do you think of it?
I think that a long time ago I might have been really into this game. But now the game just requires so much time and so much memory, and I don't have enough Ginkoba to kind of help me cope. So, so when I keep seeing the thing about, this guy will show up on this particular day and show up and talk to him, I'm just like, I need to open up a new Google Calendar and just start adding these things.
Just take notes and stuff.
I had to take notes, and I need a notebook, and that was great back in the day, and now I'm just kind of like, I would really like this if it gave me a little bit more help in tracking these people and knowing exactly where they are. And I know it was keeping track of tasks while you're talking to people, but then I'll be darned if I could find the tasks or get the same sort of detail I was getting while I was talking to the quest giver later on, when I was like, now I know he said something about this merchant, but where was the merchant and what day? And so I think you're going to need to have Gravekeeper in front of you, and you're going to have Google over on the other side, and you're going to have to be doing a little bit of searching. But it is fun. I like the humor. I definitely like the game. It's just I don't know if it's going to be able to keep my attention for very long.
Right.
But
I think that's the one thing I agree with, is that when I got into it and started getting tasks, they give you a lot at the beginning, and if you don't pay attention to which ones, where, when, and how, you can get completely lost. So it's definitely pad and paper or Google Doc or something like that. You're going to have to keep track of some of these things. I know there's already a couple of metas up online that you can jump on and wikis that you can jump in and see where and what and how they've already started to build that. So,
Interesting. Koosh, what have you been up to?
So last week we were talking about the free play weekend with Onrush and how far can I get. Well, I was able to get all but 3 achievements, and they were fairly grindy in that they just require a little more playtime than maybe I had available, at the time. I was, idling, so I was able to get, my 250 items just from doing that over the course of 1 or 2 nights. And then, the rate that you earn when you're idling is not great. You can earn it like 3 or 4 times faster just by playing the game. So when I was able to jump in, I was able to earn that and get that done, but I missed 3 kind of grindy ones. And if it ever comes back around, or it's cheap enough, maybe I'll pick it up find some way to rent
Did you enjoy it when you were playing it?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, if you had a group of people playing at the same time, I could see how it'd be a lot of fun to knock them off a cliff, or you're doing a jump and you just kind of slam on top of them. It'd be really fun if you get a bunch of people in the same race at the same time. I could see that being fun. And if the price was right, I would definitely think that'd be fun. But it's a little pricey, way too pricey actually.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But it was a fun time. I had a good time with it on that weekend, and like I said, if it ever does get cheap enough, I'll consider it. And if they have another free play, which maybe they do, I think they had a free trial when it first came out, and then they did the free play weekend. So maybe they'll have another one, and maybe I can go back in try to get it. Did a quick 1K on Super Destronaut DX. That was fun.
What the hell is that?
You're not familiar with this? So this is basically Space Invaders in kind of I'm gonna say like the screen crawl from like Star Wars. So it's not just straight up and down. It's kind of like they come at you like that screen crawl, and it's basically Space Invaders. And it's a very quick 1,000 points for maybe $5 or so.
Would you needed to get a completion under your belt, or just for funsies?
I just wanted to go out there and just get it done, just get some gamer score, just a quick refresher. It's basically just getting rid of what I'd been playing and just let's just wipe the slate clean and knock it out, lock out a game, knock out a completion, and let's go on. Let's see, what else did I do? I fired up Western Press. I played that a little bit. I think that was a $2 or $3 game, and I'm getting pretty close to the end. One of the fun things about that is one of the characters you can choose is Juan from Guacamelee.
He shows up in there too?
So rather than shooting a gun, he does his roll move with an uppercut. So he's nice. So it's kind of fun. So once I figured out I could play as him, I'm doing that, and I'll use him for my grindy achievement of 100 duels or whatever.
Nice.
But yeah, that was another.
Well, that reminds me, Brawlout comes out next week, and I get to play as Juan. I'm excited.
Yes,
it'll be fun.
I'm actually excited to play as Juan in Guacamelee 2, which comes out next week for the PlayStation. But maybe I'll talk about that. Maybe I won't talk about that. But that's probably what I'll be doing next week on the PlayStation, and then just waiting for it to come to the X.
For the record, you will not get Metroidvania credit on the PlayStation for our contest.
Well,
just so you know.
I'm just saying, I will try, but we'll see.
I appreciate the spirit of the month, but it's not going to count for it.
Yeah, I just could not wait. I could not wait for this to come out to the Xbox One, so I will be playing it on the PlayStation, and I'll just be playing it on the X as well. I'll probably play it on the PC to get the soundtrack. See what else. So Western Press, I jumped into Graveyard Keeper just to see what that was about. I was pretty excited when I saw it was on Games Pass. And hopefully I'll go back to it. I had a fun lunch break or whatever playing that. We did our Evolve boost, and I'm down to, I think, about 3 achievements left. And they are all hunters, and then get a hunter to max, so those will go hand in hand. And then well, maybe I have 5 left. Get to level 40 and something else. But it's getting pretty close, and just kind of got to chip away at it, and it's getting to the point where maybe we'll need a little bit more coordination or a little bit more pre-planning, and just kind of help one person out in particular, kind of like we had been doing with Battleborn towards the end there.
Right.
So we might be getting to that point.
The focus.
Might be getting to that point. We did a Diablo boost on Monday, and then we did a second boost on Wednesday because Battleborn is pretty much over, and we're just trying to clear the schedule a little bit, get all the boosts done, so maybe we have 1, maybe 2 boosts going during the week, and try to get some more variety and maybe a little more free time in our schedules. I'm working towards, let's see, what else am I working towards? I'm trying to chip away at Tekken Tag 2 and Soul Calibur 2 HD, which are games that are going away at the end of the month in Game Pass. So
that's right.
Yeah,
the list just came out.
They love to expire their fighting games, and I like just kind of running through them. So that's kind of what I'm chipping away at. I had stopped doing Dead Cells runs. I was doing those for a while and streaming them, but there's definitely a bug. The developer confirmed it. The daily runs are not counting. Aside from the first one, they're just not incrementing. and they are apparently going to patch it sometime in the near future. And when they do, then I'll pick it back up again, do my daily runs, and then start hopefully playing the game again. That's me.
Have you so I've been playing a bunch of Dead Cells. I love it because, like, you know, the wife's like, hey, I'm gonna go for a quick bike ride. Kids are outside playing. It's like, I got 15 minutes. You know, I'll just go clear out a level or two, and you know, it's awesome. Just pick up and play, and you know, because you're always kind of making progress, but like I can't get a deep run, like, you know, and I know I'm just not getting the gear to do it, and I don't have the patience to like really take my time with the enemies. I'm kind of get in there and just start ripping people to shreds, and I tend to take a lot of damage. So like I just finally made it to the clock tower for the first time. Like I'm just not getting deep into it, you know. But
the game is just so great, right? Because you can go in there with a couple. It's one game, but you can play it like, you know, 3 or 4 different ways. You can just get in there and just like, I'm just gonna wreck house. Just have fun, and then when, you know, the wife tells me I need to put the game down, I put the game down, and I walk away. Right? Right. I'm not concerned with that run. Then you can do like just like a blitz run. Like, I'm gonna get as many souls as I can by getting to the time doors. Then I'm gonna trade them in. I'm gonna upgrade this. I'm gonna focus on just upgrading my skills or banking these over with the blacksmith. Or I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna get every soul I can. I'm gonna get every weapon. I'm gonna scrutinize. I'm gonna try to get the best, and I'm gonna try to progress as far forward as I can. Or I'm going to go after the skills, and I'm going to, you know, do this, and I'm going to try to get the. I'm going to progress through all the items and all the achievements I can get. There's so many ways to play this game, and it's so nice that it's just a quick pick up and put down, or I can invest a lot of time. I just love this game, man. It is perfect. Totally, it's perfect for me. So
I like how great the checkpointing is. Like, literally, if you hit pause and quit, you will start like almost exactly where you paused and quit.
Oh yeah,
like it is perfect.
It's perfect. It's the perfect pick up and put down. That's why I've no shame in picking this up for the PC. You know, when I go on vacation, I got my PC with me. I can play this game. I can put it down. Don't have to sacrifice anything. The wife needs me to go do this. The kid, you know, wants to go color or do something fun. No problem. I just pause it. I walk away, and it's perfect. Everybody wins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was playing some Hand of Fate last week. Just after the show, I ended up I needed that H for the what the fug for the Gamertag challenge. So I was just playing until I got an achievement, and it ended up killing the Lich in that encounter. Ed already talked about that game quite a bit, and then decided, all right, it was the weekend. You know, I should probably get something in the RTDL, and there was. I had some letters that I needed, like Grim Legends. So I thought, you know what? Let's make it an Artifex Mundi night, and we'll play a little Lost Grim Wars for my RTDL, and I only have 3 achievements left in Grim Legends: The Forsaken Bride, and it's one playthrough doing dominoes. So one of those was speed, do a speed game of dominoes, beat it under a minute. The trick there is you can do the hidden puzzle game up until the very end, and then when you have one item to find, switch to a domino game, and that's when your 1 minute timer starts. So you literally have to like chain 3 blocks together in 1 minute to get that achievement to pop. So if you're having any challenges with the speed reach one, that's the way to loophole it. And now, the one thing I don't know is if that should still be complete domino games for all of those. It's hard to say with the counter that's going, if like when I finish the bonus chapter domino game, if I'm going to get credit for the one that I mostly did hidden puzzle with. But we'll see. I'll follow back on that one. That one's pretty short in terms of just playtime through. So yeah, at some point I'll just probably go and complete that. Like I said, Dead Cells, and then I started this week, and I've been not doing my sleep very well. I've been staying up late, and it's not super late. I'm still going to bed like at 11ish. But I've been trying to do a chapter of Little Nightmares every night this week, and so I'm 3 chapters in. I'm not going to get too deep into it because I want to finish the story before we really get into it. But I'm enjoying myself so far. It is, the ambiance, the aesthetics are super cool, and it is creepy as hell. Like, it is just unsettling. And, playing in the dark with headphones on, the sound design is exquisite. You got, like, these freaking mouth breathers, and it's just, oh, man. Like, the tension really goes with just adding the noise on there, and some of the chase scenes. Like, they do a great job, like, in, like when you played Inside, and you had those like, scripted chase scenes, where it's like, as long as you were hitting your jumps and pushing everything correctly, like, you were going to be fine, but they close in on you so close that it's like any slip up and boom, you're toast. So I love those types of things. The tension on those is great. And I also had a random to-do list on here, so I ended up getting one of those as well. So that was kind of fun. I look forward to talking more about that, finishing the story there, because it's a really interesting story so far, and I really don't know where it's going. Like, there's so much about this world I don't understand, that I'm really excited to figure out, or hopefully they teach about. I hear some of the DLCs help, or at least one of the DLCs kind of help flesh that out a little bit. But there's a lot of questions, through the kitchen, and I have two chapters in the main story and then the DLC to do. So I'll come back to you.
I will try to pay attention to the story, because I know you like to talk about that, and I'm normally useless. So I will do my best.
Have you? So you said you played through the first chapter.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Have you been like? And that's the thing. Like, this is it's emergent story. I mean, there's no dialogue.
Right.
There's nothing really that's happening. So it's like you have to try and, like, through the context of what you're doing, try and understand this world that they're in. And I'm struggling with some pieces of it. It's like, what the hell is happening here? It is so bizarre. So bizarre. In a good way. It is bizarre in a good way. Good game of the month thing. I can't wait till I finish it and I can go back into that chat room and start talking about it. Great. Well, that's fun. I should start off by mentioning that if you guys haven't seen it, the UHH 4 is launched, ready to go. I said to keep your eye on True Achievements, that there's a contest coming up soon. Yeah, it was UHH 4. That's exactly what's on the horizon over at trueachievements.com. Are you guys gonna participate? Do you guys play that each year, or whenever we host it? Is that something that piques your interest, Dave?
Yeah, I've already signed up for it, for that,
Perfect.
and the just for fun afterwards, because I'm sure I won't make that top.
Oh, absolutely. However many it is. Koosh, you in? If you are, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry, my boom did not pick it back up. Yeah, I'll definitely be playing. I signed up. I'll get in there. I'll probably be a pudding at least half the time, or at least one of the times. But
well, you gotta get at least 10 achievements.
Oh, I can do that
throughout the whole thing.
I will definitely
commit.
The
15 weeks. You need to get 10 achievements.
I will commit to that.
Now, I pitched a rule, and Planting shot me down because he thought it would just take care of itself in time. But I pitched a rule that said if you had two. You could have 2 weeks of scoring 0 achievements, and then that third week you scored nothing. You were eliminated. So, like, maybe I said it was only 2 weeks. Like, I think it was you had 2 weeks of okay, and then that third week, if you didn't score anything, you were just kicked out of the whole thing. Even the just for fun, like, you were just. And he said, well, yeah, but by that time you're doing the just for fun, and you can just click a button to pull out. I was like, yeah, but when you tell people, like, to do something that they're not engaged in, compliance is pretty low in that. Like, hey, so, like, if you're done, so if you can just do a little bit of extra work to, like, let us know that you're done, that would be great. Yeah. Have you ever quit a job before? Let's just say closing out projects on that Friday when it's your last day. Yeah, you just don't really feel like getting stuff done. So I get it. Anyway, not in the rules, but we did. So there's a lot of discussion. I don't get. You guys probably don't follow all the conversations that are happening in the forums because, well, it's not your job. And but there is some popcorn worthy stuff in there. And one of the biggest complaints is that we established a Xbox One backwards compatible games only list. That those would be the only things that would be pulled from, that we're not going deep into the 360 catalog. What are your guys' take on that? How do you guys feel about that particular rule? Koosh, do you have a stance on that?
Not so much. I'm not going down with the ship or anything one way or the other. I do like the backwards compatible, because then if I've got it, I can be on my headset on my One, and
right.
I don't have to fire up the 360 and deal with that cooking the other side of my entertainment center. So I'm fine with it, and I think it'll make it easier for people. Hopefully, most of what they have is digital, but I don't see why people are too up in arms. I mean, if you want to play your other games, go play them.
Even if you had the disc still works in the One.
You just have to do the download. Yeah, but you have to do the download.
Have to do the download. Yeah. Dave, what do you think? Does it bother you at all? Are you on board? Where do you stand on?
No, I think at this point there's enough games and there's enough backwards compatibility to definitely sustain it this way. There's always going to be someone who's going to complain that they're still working on that. They didn't want to jump into the new one yet, which if you haven't by now, then you're not going to.
A lot of people, like my biggest, and so many of the reasons why we did it was, because we wanted to limit the amount of exclusions, so you couldn't, necessarily tailor your lists. The people who are going to tailor their list are going to tailor their list. But for other people where it's like, oh boy, okay, yeah, I don't have any working plastic instruments left. Okay, so I have to take out all the Guitar Heroes, all the Rock Bands. Oh, you know what? My Kinect is broken. Okay, I have to take out all the Kinect games. Oh boy, does my 360 even work still? I have to get rid of the 360. And there's so many games that people are like, I don't even think I have access to that. Like, that's so old now. And I think there was somebody in chat, or one of the forums had said, he's like, at this point, like, while I understand you like the UHH to tell you, hey, like, you should go play this really old 360 game. Like, if it's not on backwards compatible, how popular is it really? Like, how many people, there was a time you should have finished this. There's a time that it should have been, because I noticed so many of my lists were like dredging up the 360, and it's like, look, because there's so many games. There's so many 360 achievements. Well, now that's shifted quite a bit, but we are pushing it more to, hey, let's focus on some new games. Let's focus on some things that people are interested in playing. I'd be curious to see how the metrics are going to pan out in terms of, signups and engagement. Because there's a lot of people who sign up for a list and then all of a sudden they get it and they're like, well, I don't want to play Mini Ninjas anymore and get my Kinect out, or the Orange Box. Yeah, I don't really want to play that right now. Team Fortress, that's what, 15 years old, but I don't know. So I think, like you said, there will always be people complaining. That's just the nature of humanity. I'd like to think that it's a relatively low quantity, but I'm excited. I hopefully get some new games. I added some bigger titles to my list. Because I've been curating for the RTDL, I've been hovering around like 1,200 achievements. And so to get another 1,500 on top of that, to have some wiggle room, I really had to add a bunch of stuff. And so I'm going to be all over the place. I'm probably going to be terrible, especially with the lack of gaming time I've been doing anyway. But it's going to be fun. I'm excited for it to come back. And then after the UHH, Rich had said that other idea that I had, that he really liked it. And so hopefully that'll be an early next year thing. And, I can't share what it is now, but it'll be fun. I'm excited. I think that will be a good one. And like I had said in the forums, I'm coming up with lots of ideas, especially ones to get you to your backlog of 360 games. So don't worry out there, listeners, if you have this mounting pile of games that you want someone to tell you to go play. We'll get you covered. We'll get you covered. Dave, are you an alpha ring member of the Xbox team?
I am a beta.
Just beta? Okay,
yeah.
But do you have access to some of the new things that are rolling out on Xbox One, or is this open to everybody now?
No, it is just rolling out. They just added the new shopping cart feature to Xbox One devices. It's supposed to be for preview alpha and preview beta. and anyone in the Insider program, which is the alpha beta. Anyone that is using Windows 10 devices as well, that is in the Insider for Windows 10, they're also getting it. I have 2 devices, Windows 10. One is in the Insider program, so I get the early updates and stuff like that with that device, and it is in there. And I have another Windows 10 device that is just Windows 10 standard, gets normal updates. That one actually has it already as well. So they did start dropping it there too. But the benefits to this is that it'll help you guys with your budget, because I know you just keep clicking and clicking and clicking and buy another one. It's only $5. It's only $5. It's only $3. But no, that's pretty much why it's there, so that you only have to do one transaction. You don't have to do 50 small ones when they've got another ultimate game sale.
I wonder how much money they were losing to credit card fees per transaction on stuff like that, where it took them so long to put in this cart feature. You'd have to imagine that somebody who was buying significant, because Visa or whoever, they're going to take a little chip out of that every time. And it's like, boy, I'd love to see the bottom line on how much money they're paying Visa and MasterCard and Discover or whatever the hell you can use. That seems crazy that they didn't say, hey, you know what? We could actually cut a lot of this cost down if we just let people bulk things together. I don't know, every single online retailer.
PlayStation had it. Right, the PlayStation website had a shopping cart for a long time. I don't know about the console. I don't think the console did. But anytime you're buying anything through the PlayStation Store on a web browser, they had a shopping cart. You could put a whole bunch of things in together and just do one transaction. So it is kind of interesting. It took them that long.
Plus, we probably wouldn't get flagged for buying all those gift cards to pay out the winners. They say, "Hey, there's some shady stuff going on here. What the hell's wrong with you guys?" So that's great. The other news that happened this week was Patrick Soderlund he left EA. He's taking off. Andrew Wilson had a message on their website saying, "Hey, today we are announcing that Patrick Soderlund has made the decision to move on from EA after nearly 2 decades as a pioneer of our company and industry. He will begin a new chapter later this year. Patrick has been a trusted business partner and great friend, and his inspiring leadership, blah, 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 boilerplate stuff, and whatever. We don't know where he's going. We don't know what he's doing. He was the chief design officer over at EA. What, is there a fit for him maybe in Microsoft somewhere? Do you think he's going to do his own studio? Is he interested in, so there's something we'll talk about a little bit later, but apparently he made $48 million last year by himself. That's a pretty big salary. Do you think he's just going to go, I don't know, put his feet up and play Pokemon Go or something? Or what do you think?
I think ever since Microsoft has been acquiring these new companies, these new divisions or what have you, it's just been interesting to see, who's leaving where, and then all the speculation about, well, are they going to join Microsoft? Is there something going on here? So I have no clue, but I'll definitely be paying attention.
Yeah. Yeah, and according to Andrew Wilson, later this year. So, there's got to be probably some type of non-compete in place for a little bit, and then he gets to move on? Or do you think he's just going to take some time off saying, hey, look, I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm just going to take a break. It doesn't matter where I go because I'm my own, I'll just do whatever. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see what ends up happening there. But that wasn't the main thing that popped up, because I saw this article on Kotaku that I thought was just super interesting. And it's talking about the risk of buying video games. And ultimately how, really the main thing was, so many people can get upset about buying a video game, and as a consumer, consumer's always right. So I feel like I can go complain and I can do whatever I want. And so, why, this is my money, this is the product I want. That should be the case, right? These game companies should, what they did with Mass Effect. I don't like the ending of Mass Effect 3. You guys should change it. I don't like how this ended. You owe me an ending. Do they really though? Is that like? And so really, the crux of this article was, and I think the parallel they draw here, and this is Heather Alexandra on Kotaku, and she said, listen, like if you go out and buy a hamburger, like the expectation of the hamburger is that they will cook it properly and make it how you want it. That's not always the case. Like, I've had plenty of McDonald's hamburgers where they put those stupid onions on there. I specifically said no onions. But you know what? It happens, and sometimes I get onions. And yes, I can go back and ask and get a replacement, but, the mistake was made. Fine. But, like, you're entering a transaction with somebody in yes, you're assuming that you're going to get what you want, but, if you buy a video game and don't like it, like... I don't know. It's a weird thing of like, where's the line for how you should be treated as someone who made a purchase, felt, didn't like the purchase. I mean, I hear about stories about, and I don't know if you guys have any like retail experience where this is the case, but like people who would, drink half a gallon of milk and then bring it back to the store and say, I don't like the taste of this milk. I want a replacement. It's like, you drank half the gallon. Like, how do you actually think that you deserve? You've consumed some of the product. Like, I don't get where you come off thinking like you can just exchange it. And I've had product returned to me before that was empty, and it said, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I finished it, but I didn't really like it. So I'm gonna. I really want. I want a refund, or I want another product. And it's like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, am I crazy to think like that's not acceptable human behavior in society? What do you think, Koosh?
Well, I mean, I sort of think you're not paying. Well, for me, when I'm buying a game, I'm not just buying the story that I want or the ending that I want. I'm buying ideally the experience with that product. Right. If it doesn't end out the way I want, and it's also, what types of games do I play? Do I play the ones with the fixed story? And I didn't play Mass Effect, so I wasn't disturbed by the ending not going.
Part of the angry mob with pitchforks.
Yeah, but it not going the way I wanted. But it's also not like I want to say it was like the Matrix 2. Where it was basically a big nothing. It was a big pause between Matrix 1 and the finale. Right. And so was I buying that, or was I just making an installment to get to that third one? And so maybe that's the Mass Effect. But for me, if I'm going to put my money down for a game, especially full price for a game, it's going to be because I've done the research and I know that that's the thing I want. So these people are just, renting games, doing a GameStop rental and taking it back. I don't know that that's necessarily right. I actually haven't done that myself, but I was thinking about doing it with Onrush. Renting the game, taking it back, and saying, it wasn't, this wasn't what I expected. But
renting, you mean like buying it at GameStop within
exactly.
the whatever
they
days?
Call it a GameSpot rental, right? Where you buy Conan, which you can beat in like 3 hours or whatever using the cheat codes, and then you just take it back and say, oh, this is not the one I thought it was. But yeah, so for me, I'm going to be doing the research. If I'm going to be paying full price for a game, I'm pretty much going to know that that's the game I want. And if I make a mistake and I buy Destiny 2 anyway, that's on me.
Yeah.
That's on me.
Yep. I get that. I'm feeling the burn on that one. Dave, do you have any opinion here?
I mean, you kind of stole what I was going to go with as far as it's a piece of entertainment. It is something we put a lot of money into because we are, we're heavy into achievements and gaming that way. But same thing with you've got a trilogy of movies, and the last one you think it's going to go this way, or you've got more than a trilogy, Star Wars, and you put out a ton of movies, and people start complaining that this isn't what we thought it would be, or this isn't where we wanted to go.
Not Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, that's not how Lost was supposed to end. What are you talking about? Like, there's so many complaints for something that you put yourself into. So something like Mass Effect 3, there's a lot of hours put into Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2. Yeah, you could kind of choose the story and just go to 3 right away, but a lot of people went from 1 to 2, and then they get to 3 and they didn't get the ending they wanted. They had that relationship with that company to buy it day one, play this game from start to finish. You know, they thought they deserved more. You're still paying for a piece of entertainment. You're not paying for something that's going to change your life, like food or like clothing or something that would be more substantial. So I think it's, as gamers, do we take it seriously? Yeah, because we put a lot of money into it, and we put a lot of our time exactly that normally a lot of people say is a waste of time, but we think of it as we're investing that time into that story or to something else. So
games cost more than just the money that you shell out for them. I mean, like, you know, I'm listening to Koosh's list of like Soul Calibur 2 and Tekken Tag 2 or whatever the hell you're playing. It's like, wow, that's definitely not worth my time. Like, gosh, good for you. You know, have some fun. But, like, I do not want to spend my time playing garbage like that, which I'm sure is going to happen on UHH4. I'm going to see it, and I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm not doing that list. That's stupid. Because, you know, I have a high value on how I spend my time. And so, like, Dead Cells and Little Nightmares right now are totally cutting it for me because they're great experiences, and I'm feeling rewarded for my investment, both monetarily and in terms of my time spent on things. You know, it's interesting. It's an interesting concept of you know, and so this article, there's another piece that she kind of tacks onto and spins it in terms of like, you know, if you feel like you can go and complain about how it was made or complain about what the experience was that you got and it didn't meet your standards, and they say, she uses this analogy and says, let's say I'm going to open a pizza shop, and I got all these people coming in, my coworkers, and I need chefs, I need servers, I need people to clean, I need people to, you know, and you got, boy, this pizza shop is really just killing it. Like, these people love my pizza. You know, so they love it so much that I can't afford to have my people take vacations. They can't go, they got to work 18 hours a day. And I'm not sure we can even let time off on holidays because we got to get these pizzas out. And it's like, well, no, you shouldn't treat people like that, right? And obviously she's drawing a parallel to developers where it's like, hey, I need my new Assassin's Creed next year, so if you can just get these thousands of people to just grind into nothing to get my game out on time. And it's like, you know, as a consumer then, and I'm saying, well, I don't like this, you need to do some more work to fix it. It's like, well, no, they did what they were supposed to do. They provided a product that you can consume, and you're just mad you didn't like the product. It's not that, like, they owe you more. They're busting their butt to try and get this experience to you, and it's unfortunate maybe they missed the mark, or the creative director wasn't, you know, in line with what your expectations were, or maybe the marketing, you know, gave you a different expectation than what the experience actually was. You know, and this is where I got that information on Patrick Soderlund, and they make another for Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick. He made $28.7 million, and they're showing that, like, these top end people, like, they are making so much more money than the average employee who actually works on the game, and yet we're mad at those developers and those people who are, you know, spending countless hours trying to get this stuff out, and mad at them for not providing experience. And it's like, oh, boy, you know, it's like with school starting up here in the near future, and like my nieces and nephews, all of them for some reason want to be teachers. When they go, I'm like, good for you. You know, I don't know where along the line you decided not to like money, but that's a great occupation. You know, teaching our kids. But then I think about it, and it's like, well, yeah, but like, boy, I trust them with my kids' safety. I trust them with my kids' education, and, you know, and they're getting paid crap. Like, that's a travesty. You know, and tying it back to video games here, it's like, these guys, I mean, they're compensated, but compensated well enough to say, look, I'm going to forego spending any time with my family because it's crunch time. We got to get this game out, and I'm only spending $60 to if that. Typically, I'm waiting on a sale. Like I'm starting to feel bad about my buying decisions. Like I'm not supporting the industry I love so much. Do you guys have any? Are you guys as conflicted as I am, or is this just a personal thing?
Doe, you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much in the same boat as far as, am I going to drop that big dollar when I know it's going to go on sale? Might be Games with Gold, might be Ultimate Game Sale, something like that. And I have how big of a backlog? So do I want to jump on those titles? There's definitely one or two coming up before the end of the year that I'm jumping on, but the list is a lot smaller than what it used to be.
Absolutely.
When I like to throw my money around to developers for full price, it's most often it's indies or the smaller guy. And I'll wait on the big guys because I know they don't need my dollars right away, because the people that are buying them are the guys who maybe buy 4 games a year, maybe 5 games a year, whereas we're buying I don't want to say 5 a sale, 5 6 a sale, or whenever they come out. So I don't feel so bad about not buying Assassin's Creed. I actually like the fact that Assassin's Creed has been taking 2 years off. I think it makes a big difference. And I think they should treat their employees a little bit better than they have been.
My 2017 Bean Dive was 82 games. And so that was just games I started in 2017. Like that, and that's not even that much. I'm sure I bought more than that on sales and things. But yeah, those are just the games that, granted, like Dave said, I mean, we're getting plenty of games for free. I'm a Games Pass subscriber, Games with Gold, that stuff. There's free to play games coming out constantly that I'm getting in on.
Free weekends,
there's plenty of incentives to keep me gaming and keep me engaged in the ecosystem. And then a gem like Dead Cells comes around, or Brawlout, Smash Brothers clone that I've played on the Switch, and it's great. Like I, don't have any problem paying full price for those titles. Or Hellblade, when that came out, and it was offered on that modest discount, but it was going toward a charity. It's like, hell yeah, I'm on board with that. Like, not only is it a awesome developer in Ninja Theory, but yes, it's going to charity and mental health organizations. Like this, I'm sold. And from the glowing reviews that it got, but then there's a game like Nier Automata where it's like, oh, that's on my list of something. I know it's going to be a time sink. I guess it could be a time sink for the full completion, but like I really want to play that game a lot. But it's not on sale yet. Okay, I can wait on that one. Because that's a relatively, more sizable studio making that one. Okay, they can wait for my money a little bit longer, but and this will dovetail into what we're talking about here, like with Dead Cells. The company Motion Twin, they're out of France, which now that like Koosh and I were talking about this, a French studio, this totally makes sense. But there's only 11 people that work there, and there's no boss. They have 11 people that they revenue share, essentially. They call themselves an anarcho-syndical workers cooperative. And what does that mean? Well, everybody gets the same pay, and everybody has the same vote on what to do with the game. There's no necessarily leader. There's no, it's just the 11 people working together to do what they need to do. And I did not realize that was the case, and it's super fascinating. Now, the game designer Sebastian Bernard, he said there's people who've been in the with that company there for like 17 years. This guy himself, he was there for 17 years, and he gets paid the same amount of money as a guy who just showed up a month ago, like last year, working on this thing. And it's like, well, is that fair? Is that right? It's weird, but in that same thing, then it doesn't, you don't get those bloated salaries like I just mentioned for Patrick Soderlund or Bobby Kotick. Like, are they single-handedly pulling in $48 million worth of business? Are they like, they're not in their coding. They're not in their, I don't know. I might be undervaluing what the role of a CEO is, or the CDO, I guess, as the chief design officer. But I kind of like the idea, but Motion Twin also mentions like, hey, look, it doesn't necessarily work, right? Because I mean, for larger scale, like, when you've got 100 people and you say, okay, I think Dead Cells should have, I don't know, an inverted level or something. It's like, okay, so 60% of the people want it and 40% say no. Okay, I think the vote then is no. Okay, then that's what we're gonna do. Okay, fine. You get too many cooks in the kitchen, then there's no real direction. There's no real, there's enough dissidence on either side that it doesn't really make sense. So while I get it for a small team, a flexible team like this, at what point does it become too unmanageable? And that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody has to, you have to then have a salary reflect your role in the, in the game. I mean, you could still have the creative director and say, okay, yeah, you get the same money as everything, but your job is to make sure that this game fits your vision. But you're going to pay paid the same as everybody else. That could probably work as long as there's like a leader and the people underneath are willing to take direction from somebody. I have to imagine that happens at times. Like, hey, all right, I need some background assets. Bruce, can you give me a skybox and some whatever? And hey, animators, like, got to make Dead Cells Night look really good for whatever. So I need you to work on that, and you need to work on this, and I'm going to work on marketing material, whatever. Like, you can still share and have a leader. The way they make it sound is like they didn't really have I don't know. But I thought it was really interesting that they don't have like bosses. They just kind of. And how do you fire somebody in a situation like that?
Yeah, it's basically Survivor at that point, right? Yeah, I think there's a hat.
Yeah, you put a name into a jug.
Yeah, there's fire.
Ooh,
fire ceremony.
Tim, that's 7 votes for
you. That certainly
Tim.
wouldn't work for everybody, right? And as the teams get larger, it's definitely not going to work. And I don't know how. I mean, hey, I'm not going to complain. The magic that they made, whatever. Keep doing it. I'm fine with them. It's not going to work for everybody, and I don't quite understand how like a Soderlund or whatever justifies making that much money. Like if you were to ask them at a party, like, so what do you do? Okay, and how much did you make last year? Okay, and why? Like what do you contribute that's worth that much? Is it just your name? Is it like your pedigree? Is it your experience? There's definitely something to be said for experience and leadership and history. But I mean, that's a lot of money. But I think that what we're looking at here are two extremes, and I think the most obviously for most people, it's in the middle. and yeah, so it's very interesting that those are the two examples that came out in the news about the same time. Like you get a super small team, and you got this huge pay structure. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it is. Dave, you got any comments that things that you want to touch on here?
Just in the article itself, it did say that they did become a larger company, slightly larger. I mean, they're I think it's at 11 people strong is what they are at the moment. They got up to about 30, and that's about when the balloon burst. Yeah. Once they started getting up that high. So at that point, that means they lost quite a few employees to get back down to 11. So there was definitely some voting there as far as who needed to go and how. So somebody did have to be in charge at that point.
Yeah. Come in and be the axe man.
Yeah.
Say, yep. All right. We need to kill 17 people. They all got to go. That would be a
either that or all the new guys teamed up together and be like, we're all voting the same, right? Everybody else is gone.
Yeah. We got an alliance, right? Yeah. I'd like to see that reality show. And it would be interesting, like, because in any sort of team, right, and just in the nature of working in a group, there's always somebody who's the worst in the group. And so, like, I mean, that's just by
Where are you
nature,
going with this, Fream?
Right? So, like, how does, like, when there's a hiring decision, it's like, all right, do we bring on number 12 or do we cut somebody and, stay at 11? Like, do you have to have like a meeting about that? And like, so then, Sanjay over there is like, ugh, boy, I'm probably the crappiest one here. I vote no, we don't pick anyone else up because, we definitely want to add a 12th. We don't want to cut somebody. How do those guys, that's just, I'm envisioning these scenarios like in the break room where this guy's sweating bullets thinking, I'm so doomed.
Well, and it did say,
I'm the sound engineer and I'm done.
It did say that since everybody's equal, like, people will push themselves because they know they're going to get the same pie at the end. They're pushing to get the best product out there to be proud of what they're doing. But they can see when some of the other people start to fade a little bit, they'll wind up sending them home and just say, look, just take some time off. You're not in trouble and you're not losing money because we're all getting the same thing. Just, take the rest of the day off or take the next 2 days off and come back in, feel fresh and get back on your project. So it seems like just a happier environment altogether. But that person at the top, because there is somebody at the top who founded the company and came up with everything, and that person's they've got to be okay with not having as much power or making their employees feel like they don't have as much power, I guess is the way to put it. So, but yeah,
I have so many questions about how that works. Like, I would love to talk to them. My French is not so good. I took some in high school and a little bit in college, but I bet they speak English now.
Is that because you know what your CEO is making?
It's what I had a dream. It's one of those when you get those weird dreams where like you wake up and you're like, hold on, did that actually happen? Like, it was too real. Did that actually happen? And it was like HR was standing over my shoulder talking about this project, and it was like watching me work, and it's like, I understand this project needs to get done, and she like would just watch me for like a minute or so, like real time. I'm like, this is really uncomfortable. You just standing over my shoulder doing this, and then she leans over and says, the president of the company's, this is a really important customer. I'm like, I know, like, I get it. Like, you standing here is not going to get me to work any faster, better, or harder, and presumably you should go do something else, contribute in your own way. Like, what the hell are you doing to help out this project, And so, like, I just, social dynamics, group situations, it's so interesting. I've been listening to a new podcast. So it came through the Nerdist or Chris Hardwick's podcast, which he doesn't record anymore, which is a bummer. But it was Allie Ward has a podcast called Allergies. And so I just started that up. And she each week talks with a different scientist, somebody who is an ologist. And so like her opening episode was with a volcanologist. And so they talked about volcanoes. And then there was one about gems, a gemologist, and there was one about primates. And so the primatologist was super interesting, and she was talking about chimps and social dynamics and just how the social structure works. And, she's, by watching and observing this family of chimpanzees, like, she's like, yeah, no, like, I can see that guy over there, like that chimp. Yeah, he's a loser. I guess there was like some food. And he's like, he didn't even bother going for the food because there's this woman who came by, and he is, if he is lower, because it's a patriarchal society, if he's feels lower than that woman, not willing to even get the food, that means like he is the biggest douche in this whole group. And it's like just hearing stuff like that, and I'm like, oh my God. And she had asked, like, have you watched these things and like start thinking about humans because of our closeness to, sharing 99% of DNA with them. Like, look at how these creatures behave and start thinking of humanity. Like, oh yeah, is that why that guy's such a wanker? Or, what the hell's wrong with this guy? What's he trying to prove? And it was super fascinating. And I think of like a scenario like this with interesting social dynamics of like, hey, we're all working toward a common goal, but somebody's going to get jealous of somebody else who's working harder, or we have to track time, and so we can bill back to our customer. And if it's like, hey, you're spending 9-10 hours a day working for this customer, and I'm watching that guy over there, and he's leaving at 3:30 every day. Like, what the hell, man? That doesn't sound fair. And so, I presumably they have an HR person, right? It'd be hard not to have a company with somebody who could handle that stuff. Although I think HR jobs are pretty ridiculous. I don't, setting up the ice cream social once a month or whatever they do. Anyway, all right, I digress. Let's get back on track. The one other thing I wanted to talk about, which I thought was really interesting, was Bethesda. They're making a statement, and it's in regards to crossplay. And so Pete Hines, the Bethesda, is he the CEO at Bethesda? VP of Marketing? Yeah, there you go, VP of Marketing. He had an interview with Game Informer at QuakeCon. Obviously, QuakeCon was just last week, 2 weeks ago. And he said this quote: "It is our intention, in order for the game to come out, it has to be those things, crossplay on any system. We cannot have a game that works one way across everywhere, except for this one thing. The way the game works right now on Apple, Google, Steam, Bethesda.net." Now, he's talking about the Elder Scrolls card game, the Elder Scrolls Legends card game. He says the way the game works right now, it doesn't matter where you buy your stuff. If you play it on another platform, that stuff is all there. It doesn't matter what platform you play on. You play against everyone else who's playing at that same moment. There's no, oh yeah, it's easier to control over here. It's got a better frame rate on this. It's a strategy card game. It doesn't matter. And so he is saying that, listen, it's essentially non-negotiable. We don't want to have this game on an outlet that is going to put up the walls and not play nice with others. So does that mean Elder Scrolls Legends is not coming to PS4? Is that, I'm not sure if it's a total, that they've put their foot down that hard, but that's what he's suggesting.
That's kind of what it sounds like. That's kind of the guy in the room everyone's looking at, like if someone's going to say no, like, we're not going to do crossplay, it's going to be Sony.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
Yeah, so a game like this, there's no way Elder Scrolls Legends is going to be enough to move the needle, but you've got the ongoing support from Fortnite. And saying, and there's a case to be said on, and this has been talked about constantly through multiple podcasts, but there's something to be said about, okay, listen, yeah, crossplay, fine, I get it. You can have a reason for not wanting to play with others. You're the market leader, Sony, so yeah, you want to keep people in your ecosystem, fine, I get that, but to prevent then that account to go somewhere else, super anti-consumer, and so that pushback is being locked out of, is that why your account's all locked out, Doughboy? Is that it's tied to a PlayStation account? Is that why you couldn't play Fortnite?
Not that I know of, but I'm gonna have to find out.
But that game is getting big enough where a mainstream media is starting to say hey, that's kind of weird. I want to play this game, but I can't because Sony won't let me. And they're very clear on Epic's marketing or messaging when you get in is this account is tied to a PSN account. It can't be connected to your Switch or your Xbox or your PC, or it can be on PC, but your Switch or your Xbox. Sorry, it's connected to somewhere else. And it's okay, Fortnite's pretty big. Is there enough noise there that can do it? This article talks about Gwent, another card game, where it doesn't matter. There's no performance things. There's nothing, there's nothing at stake here. Is there, right now it's on both because it's in beta, but when it launches, is it, can there be crossplay there? Do you think, I like the move that Bethesda's saying is, if they follow through, that yes, you know what, we're just not going to launch on that. We don't need it. We stand by it, because maybe they're going to say, well, this game's not going to be sell gangbusters. So we can make a statement, because then down the road, when we do have a game like, well, let's say Fallout 76, right? Like that we really want crossplay on, then we've made our statement, and this is a good test case for how much money we are potentially losing by not going to how many consoles does PlayStation have now? 80 million? That's a big chunk of the market. Like, that would be a lot of money to say, or a lot of people to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm not even gonna entertain the idea that you can buy my game. I'm gonna cater to these folks over here.
I mean, good on them, right? And hopefully more people speak out and do something similar to this, and maybe eventually we'll get that crossplay. Is it really gonna happen right now? No, but the fact that we're starting to see more people speak out against Sony, and more people, and now these guys saying, we're just not going to go to a console that won't be open with other consoles. Hopefully that's a trend that we just see keep going more and more, and it's a good thing, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be something like marketing, as far as when you're saying it plays on this. Maybe they don't list PlayStation in that list, even if they're selling it on that, because maybe the way that they'll word the advertising is play with your friends on this, or this. That type of thing. You got, like you said, this is Bethesda. They've got big games coming out, so this is them saying, guys, this is where we're putting our foot down with this. Yes, it's a smaller game, but we'll take the hit on this to hopefully allow our community to play together. Yeah, you've got this, you've got Rocket League, you've got Fortnite, you've got Minecraft. Like, all of these major players are saying, we've got huge communities. People don't want to play on one device. Xbox does cross-play with the PC. Yes, you have to be in the Windows 10 environment, that sort of thing. But they kind of started it to say... It's just funny that they started that, and people said, well, if I can play it on this device and I can play it on the other device, then I don't need the other device. Well, you guys are losing money that way. No, they're giving their consumer options, and that's what we're finding is the consumer wants more options. They want to be able to, pick the game up on their tablet, play it for a little bit because they're out and about, and then when they get home, they do want to sit in front of a console and play the same game and pick up where they left off.
Well, they just had that commercial for Minecraft on the Switch, where you had an Xbox controller and the Switch player right next to each other. Mm-hmm. And both logos right there. Boom. Click. Switch. Whoosh. Xbox. Like, bright green, bright red, big old... They had that little Twitter love fest a couple months ago or whatever. And again, you could be real cynical and just say, well, yeah, of course, you guys aren't winning the console war right now. You guys, are out of this race. Maybe. But now by doing this here... and coming next gen, when in 2020 we're looking at the new Xbox and the new PlayStation, is the because Xbox isn't going to go back on it. Like, they've made their commitment very clear. We are about the gamer. We are about sharing the experiences, because people in the Xbox ecosystem. If you continue to provide good consoles and PC and, reasons for them to stay in this ecosystem, they're not going anywhere. And now you can branch out and say, okay, well, I can now play my Switch as another option. I can use my phone. I can use my tablet. Like, yeah, totally. And unless Microsoft's going to try and do all of those things, which I think they tried to do with this all-in-one media thing, and that bit them right in the butt. And so it's like, hey, how about if we just share what we have with other people who can do this better? Then we're still getting a piece of the pie. Yeah, okay, it's not the vertical integration that we want. We don't have the aluminum mines, and we're not making the cans, and we're not filling them with soda, and we're not, we don't own the whole column, but we've got our fingers in all the pieces all the way up. And so no matter what transaction happens, we're getting something.
They get a cut on the game. They get a cut on DLC. They get a cut on, any of that stuff. So I just don't understand why they wouldn't want to do it. Because then everybody can get their little piece of the pie instead of just saying you're taking the ball and going home. I just don't.
I understand that it takes a long time for Sony to make decisions. Like, they're a super huge company and stuff, but like the longer they drag their feet and are not clear on their plan, and it just continually looks like they are working against the gamer. That, you know, the decisions they're making is hurting the experience for others. That it's not, well, you know, we got this, and so we're fine over at the PlayStation world. So if you guys come here, everything will be fine. No, it's very exclusive. It's very limiting to people and their options, and it just looks like it only benefits Sony. And that's, you know, there's going to be a tipping point where there are enough people are going to say enough. Like, I'm just sick of it, you know. I'm going to move somewhere else because I have, you know, my son's got a Switch, you know, and we got a PC at home. You know, I'm going to get an Xbox. Like, you know, that'll be fun because then I can still play with him. I have access to some other, you know, these new studios that are going to be making great first party games. You know, cross his fingers, but that's, you know, they're playing the long game now, and I like the direction. I think, you know, next it flipped with the 360 and PlayStation 3, and now with the 4 and the 1, you know, it flips sides. Sony's got it. I think it might flip back to Microsoft next time. You know, and who knows what's going to continue to happen with the Switch. I mean, that is immensely popular. My son loves his Switch right now. You know, is portable gaming? Yes, please. Of course, I need that self-driving car first. But then, oh yeah, I'm gonna just take the bus. But yeah, I'm glad Bethesda's putting their foot down. Hopefully, this continues to have this conversation and continues to put pressure on Sony, because, you know, Fortnite showed how easy it was. You flip the Switch. You know, there's no reason. There's nothing. The only reason is Sony wants people to be buying things in their ecosystem. And so by forcing them to stay there, then sure, yep, you've got a stranglehold on those people, but you're putting up the big barbed wire fences and forcing people into the gate. And it looks a little menacing. It looks a little scary in there. I'm not sure that's the community I want to be a part of. So anyway, cool. Let's see. By the time next week, registration will be over. And does the UHH start already? When is go time on that thing? I should know these things. I should look it up. That's exciting because it's right around the corner. There's the hub right there. Whoops.
Yeah,
I clicked on the wrong thing. Registration ends in 2 days of recording, so this will be good to go. And day one, when does it launch? Let's look at the frequently asked questions. August 25th starts the group stage, round 1. Curious who gets matched up in our community. Presumably it's going to continue to happen. You know, I like getting those matchups and things. And the GTSC, that's going on strong as well. Getting on the home stretch of there. I wonder how many friends I still have in that thing. I have completely checked out of all the other tournaments and stuff. Dave, how's Extra Life planning going?
I was gonna say real quick. We also have Gamescom this coming week. It starts on Tuesday.
Right.
So we're gonna.
Do you think we'll get that Fable announcement?
Either that or the Elite controller that everybody's claiming is going to be there. Since
Saw that.
There's some form of hardware that they're bringing with them. So
saw that. I would love a Fable announcement, but I'm not sure we'll get it. What's the other sneaky thing? Oh, is Splinter Cell going to make an appearance here? I'm not even sure Ubisoft's going to make a significant splash, but it's possible. It's possible. Yeah, let's see. I have 8 people still in the GTSC individuals and 7 teams. So that's not so bad. So how's Extra Life stuff planning going? I mean, you only got a couple months left.
Yep, we're getting down on the wire here. November 3rd is the game day for this year. So it's the 24-hour gaming marathon that is held anywhere you are. So you can do it at your home, your friends' homes, whatever. Go to a place so you guys can play together. But yeah, I'm getting ready for it. We always open up our doors here and invite people over. And last year, I think we had 22 people in and out, random times, sitting down, playing games. And had a really good
streaming?
time.
I watched your stream I watched your stream a little bit. It was funny to like just watch like random people just kind of walk in behind you, and like I think was your wife in there for a little bit, or I thought I saw.
Yeah, last year got a little out of hand. Someone let one of the kittens out or something like that.
Okay.
So I had to stop stream for a little bit, and they kept playing. But yeah, we did get all 25 hours in at that point. So.
That's funny. This isn't daylight savings. This is actually just 24.
They're punishing us every year.
Perfect. Hey, precedent's been set.
Yep, we'll take it.
Been set. That's funny. Yeah, it's that's great.
Yeah,
and
with that, I've also been doing. If you've seen on my Twitter, I've been doing the 100 Days of Gaming. So once we got down to 100 days until Extra Life Day, a lot of us started doing 100 days of gaming, where we at least post that we're playing a game every single day. Maybe share our link to our sponsorship page, or just share a link to join yourself, create your own team. Some of the benefits of Extra Life. So we're just getting the word out there and making it known. So we're just using that hashtag 100 Days of Gaming to see that.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, that's awesome. Koosh, you got anything you want to touch on before we take off?
Not really. Hopefully Dead Cells gets patched and I can start doing my daily runs again. Not a whole lot going on.
Are you after 10? Is there any benefit?
Oh yeah, so I think it's 5. It's 1, 5, and then I think 10. So after that, at least according to the initial message, there is nothing after that. That doesn't mean that they won't add it later, but it is fun.
Sure.
It was daunting at first, and then the more you play it, it actually gets pretty easy. So I haven't really had that many problems going through and doing the dailies when I've been doing them. So if they do end up adding more, schematics. Then I will definitely go for them. And it's once again, it's just another way to play the game. Go in there, do your quick pick up, put down, and move on.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go fishing tomorrow. I'm taking the boy out fishing. My dad has a little boat. We're gonna go cruising down a river for a day, and I'm gonna teach my son to fish for the first time, really. So that'll be super fun. So I need to go get some sleep. So unfortunately, I need to turn on my Xbox to get my daily, and then it's like, oh crap. Do I just give a little taste of Dead Cells before? And it's like,
I wouldn't.
No, get your 7 hours of sleep. Come on. Just go to bed.
Yep.
Go to bed. Oh, awesome. Well, I think that'll do it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. Glad you guys stopped by, gave us a chance. I appreciate Dave and Koosh, you guys showing up. It's great. Thanks for your help today.
Yeah,
no problem.
Thanks for having us.
And of course, you can reach us in so many different ways. Website, z2z.com, ZEDTOZED. The Twitter handle is @Z2Z. And we have an email address. If you haven't been over to Discord, we got a great little community over there, discord.io/Z2Z. So big thanks to everyone in the community, everyone who's listening, everyone who has thanked us, everyone who has given us tools, money, whatever. Thank you. And so on behalf of Dave and Koosh, this has been Brandon. And to all of you achievement hunters and Gamerscore junkies out there, thank you so much for listening. And we'll catch you next episode.